Hey everybody, this is Josh from Cardfight NZ. Hope you guys are all having a good day. First up, I just want to say that we're glad that you're watching our videos. We're just starting out. That we realise that these first few videos are going to be a bit rough around the edges, just while we work out exactly what we're doing. So any constructive criticism or anything like that in the comments would be really appreciated. And yeah, so let's get into it. So today I'm reviewing my Shadow Paladin deck. This deck generally isn't the normal Shadow Paladin deck because I'm not using Phantom Blaster Dragon and Overlord. I do think that the build that I've got is better than that. It doesn't have the cross ride ability, but it's other than that I think it's better all around. So anyway, I'll get to it. So generally, other than Creeping Dark Ghost, this is full bow is really the only worthwhile starter for Shadow Paladins until Revenge's coming. So yeah, that's a pretty standard start. So then obviously I've got 4 Death Feather Eagle and 4 Grim Reaper. So yeah, 8 crit. There's no point running stands. I mean, you're retiring your rear guards half the time, so if you don't have rear guards, then there's not really much point. And I've got obviously 4 draws. Some people say you don't actually need to run draws in Ildona, but honestly your card advantage gets hilarious if you manage to twin drive one of these after using his skill, so it's definitely worth it. And then your 4 heals, obviously that's pretty much self-explanatory. So that's the triggers. Grade 1s. 4 Blasted Javelin, that's obviously for the ride chain. Obviously since I'm running Ildona, I'm not really using the ride chain that much. It's really handy to get basically a free grade 2, especially if you happen to miss getting one in your starting hand. Plus he gets a nice burst you see on 8 when you've managed to do that. So yeah, that's fine. And then 4 Black Sage Charon, just for the 8k booster. That's pretty standard. There's not really the 10k booster for Shadow Paladins is pretty trash, so that does the job. I then have 4 of these Guru Bows, which I absolutely love. Pretty much they're getting all replaced in Season 3, but for now they definitely do the job. If you're having trouble getting grade 2s out or whatever, you can still harass quite nicely with him. And then fairly staple 4 Perfect Guards. You really need those, and it's a pain because they're really expensive generally, but especially with Season 3 you need these because if someone break rides, they're going to hurt you a lot. Right, so that's for grade 1s. For grade 2s, 2 Blasted Darks. Never want any more than that. You almost could do 1, but basically you want him to be a free card. That's because he's not really very good, and his ability only works on Vanguard, so he's pretty rubbish. So you definitely don't want to use more than 2. Just for the ride chain and nothing more. I then have 1 Skull Witch. I only run 1 of these because her printed power is horrendous, and I use her skill once, like get her down, use it, and that's fine. With Ildona I don't really need much more draw power, so 1 of those is fine. It's nice, but you don't want to overdo it. And then just 2 10k vanillas. I just got the alternate art just so it looks nice. That's pretty standard stuff, really. And then I've got Curse Lancer, which is the 9k damage unflipper for Shadow Paladins. This is really handy if you can get it off. I mean, most people are wise enough not to let you land stuff like that, but occasionally they don't have any choice. So if you line that up properly, it's a nice little bonus. I have 2 of Darkness Maiden Maka, which basically, she's really handy when you're struggling to make a field, especially with grade 1. It happens quite a lot where you just stuck with grade 2s, and especially if they're sitting with a Vanguard at 11,000 power or more. It just becomes a real pain. So yeah, for Counterblast 2 you can call another Shadow Paladin grade 1 or less to the same column as her. So you just need to be careful that you think ahead about that sort of thing. But yeah, so run 2, that's all you really need. The thing is, you need to be careful because if you use her Counterblast, that means you don't get to use Ildona 1 extra time. So you need to make sure you are certain that you need that ability. Alright, moving on to grade 3s. So I'll do Ildona last, but so first up I run this. Only one of this. Generally it's pretty terrible, but its ability is when it's played, either Vanguard or Rearguard. Almost never play this Vanguard if you can avoid it. You just get to flip over the top card of your deck and call it to the field, as long as it's a Shadow Paladin, which obviously it will be. It is actually really handy sometimes. Like, it's just a free card basically, and sure, you can get screwed over by it as well. But there, 50% of the time it's really useful, especially if you need cards to just burn up for Ildona. So only 1, it does the job. Try and avoid riding it at all costs. Secondly, I run 1 Phantom Blaster Dragon. The reason being is that sometimes it's nice to sit at 11,000, just for the sake of defense until you can pull one of your better cards. So I definitely wouldn't run 2 of the previous card. It's just nice sometimes to sit at 11, and if you happen to be playing someone who doesn't have perfect guards and you're feeling particularly mean, you can use this. It's not good. It's not a good card at all. Like, it's been outclassed in just about every single way by other cards that do the same thing and more. So yeah, this card is very overrated. 1 only. Next, probably the card that I ride second. Well, try to ride if possible, but not as my main, but as a secondary, is the Dark Dictator. The Dark Dictator is a promo card, which means it can be a wee bit more difficult to get hold of. It's definitely worth it though, because he's nice in an Ildona deck because he doesn't require any form of counterblasting, so that they don't interfere with each other. Basically, if you don't know what he does, he can't be boosted by other rear guards, but during your turn he gets 2,000 for each other rear guard on the field. So, and then he's also got like a Soul Saber Dragon effect that when you play him down, you Soul Blast 3, and your 2 front row get 5k. So it can be quite a nice bit of pressure you can throw onto someone suddenly, be it when you hit grade 3 or right at the end game when you just you want to burn some stuff, because I don't use the soul for anything else. So he's nice, and you can win some games quite sneakily with him. And then the main boss of my deck is Ildona. So this is, most people build Overlord. I would say Ildona's better. He's a lot cheaper for a start. That was actually part of the reason I built him in the first place, is because I just could not afford to build the overpriced normal Shadow Paladins. But I quickly realised that he's actually a lot better. Because most people probably haven't seen him, basically what he does is when he attacks another Vanguard, he gets 3k power by himself, which is nice. And then his limit break is an auto when he attacks, counterblast 2 rear guards and retire 2 of your rear guards, and you get to draw 2, and he gets an extra 3k. So what that basically means is that if you compare it to Phantom Blaster Dragon, you have to do it before you've attacked. which means that you're burning up rear guards on your field before you've even used them to attack anyone. And sure, you can use it twice if you feel like minusing yourself ridiculously. But yeah, so that's, sure, it's a bit of raw power, but you can't, like, a perfect guard will just shut him down completely. Whereas when you use Ildona, it means you can attack with the column first, and then you can, retire them. So especially if you've got a really crappy field, you can, he basically lets you build the field that you want. So yeah, he's really good for that. So yeah, basically in summary, this deck is quite defensive, basically because you get a lot of draw with Ildona. Like basically, so on a turn, when you use a skill, you get to draw 2 cards in your hand, so that's guards. Then you get to twin drive, so generally you always end your turn with at least 4 cards in your hand, which can be really, really nice. I mean, even if you unfortunately pull triggers with his skill, which does happen, because it's going to happen, that's extra guards in your hand, and while it would have been nicer if they came out when you twin drived, you can't win everything, but honestly, if you can just turtle it up enough, take the big hits from the people, like let people burn the skills on you basically, and then just, finish them up nicely. I mean, he hits decent enough numbers, like generally you want to be able to hit at least 21 with your Vanguard, and an 8k booster when he uses, well, an 8k booster by himself will make him hit 21. So it does the job. The problem now though is that with a lot of the new cards, he can't, like, I think the decks in general really struggle. You still can win, it's a lot harder because they can apply so much more pressure for much less cost. So yeah, defensive deck, it's so much cheaper than building a Phantom Blaster Dragon deck. Admittedly, the prices have dropped on it a lot because maybe people have realised that it's not really that great. Also, there's new Shadow Paladins coming in a few months' time from when this video is taken, so it might become viable to build a Phantom Blaster Dragon deck if you want it for, if you just happen to like that from the show or whatever. But it's not a great card. It costs us too much. I would say if you want to build a cool Shadow Paladin deck that's going to cost you a lot less and is still pretty viable, I would say go for Ildona. He's not that well known compared to the other ones, but he's the only Season 2 card that came out for Shadow Paladins, because obviously if you've watched the show you'll know that they disappeared. So yeah, build Ildona. I think we have a much better time. I think you'll have more luck, and perfect guards won't ruin your day quite as much. So yeah, basically all I need to say now is that we're going to be bringing you some more videos like this. Hopefully this hasn't been too terrible. Obviously we're doing our best and just learning how to do this and make them interesting. So yeah, we've got heaps more decks to review and heaps more people to talk about this stuff. So I'll end this here, and if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, please feel free to leave it in the messages. We'll do our best to contact you. I'm sure we'll be able to get around to everyone. Yeah, I hope you like my deck, and I hope you have a good day.